Hello. I'm John Christian Mogollons and I will be your presenter for the following topics, namely, workflow, structure and style. Before we dive right into our first topic, workflow, let us first define what is HTML and CSS. HTML provides the basic structure of sites, which is enhanced and modified by other technologies like CSS. CSS is used to control presentation, formatting, and layout. The most common tools used in a workflow are 1. Text editor, 2. Version control system, and 3. Web browser. Text editors are used to code the structure of the application. Version control system is used to keep track of the different versions of your code, and web browser is used to view the application one is developing and for hosting sites. Further discussion will be done after this slide. Text editors can be used for 1. Writing code, 2. Editing text files. Using a graphical user interface editor allows user to code their own web applications with much ease. The availability of options lets the user navigate through the application easily. This is an example of a GUI editor named Sublime Text. This was created way back before GUI editor was created. With this type of editor, learning programming and making applications was inevitably hard due to the difficulty of understanding its user interface. This is an example of a terminal editor used in Linux. It is called a Vim editor. Let us move forward towards the second tool, version control system. Version control system is a kind of software that helps the developer team to efficiently communicate and manage, track, all the changes that have been made to the source code along with the information like who made and what change has been made. Some examples are Git, most common these days, CVS, Mercurial, Perforce, Subversion. Git has its own specific installers for both macOS and Windows. This can be found in https://git-scm.com/downloads. Just click one of the three options available. pwd and ls commands can be used to find at which directory you are in and show the list of files and folders that is available in your current directory. cd command allows you to jump to the directory you want to go in by typing it after the said command. For example, cd desktop. cd with a double dot, however, allows you to move back to an outer directory if there is any. mk command allows you to create folders, subdirectories in your current directory. The name of the folder is specified after the mk command. To check if the directory has been created, You can type the ls command and verify. Git config global user.name allows user to set the Git username. The username is enclosed in a double quotation. Git add directs Git to save a snapshot of the current project state into the commit history. Note that added files need to be committed to the Git repository. When the same file is modified, it can be re-added to the commit history. Git commit m is used to commit the file added to Git repository. M-flag enables the user to include a commit message, i.e. initial commit. Git log shows author's name, email address, and the list of commits made with date and time specified. In saving, you really overwrite the file from your PC storage. Committing to a Git repository, on the other hand, permits you to monitor all the progressions you have made since the last time you committed the file. Moving on to the third tool, web browser. Browsers are what we use to view the web application that we are developing. In addition, it is also where we make our web applications available to the whole world by having it hosted by third-party applications. The one in the picture is an example of a non-hosted simple website. By having an understanding on how the different directories and files are dispersed all throughout the system allows you to easily navigate through it and go into the directory you want to go to. HTML tags are like keywords which defines that how web browser will format and display the content. Observe the name of the website and its content. Aside from the header tags, note that header tags has 6 levels. We can also use the paragraph tag p enclosed in an opening and closing angle brackets. See the example on the slide. It is important to note that when we edit the HTML file, we can refresh the link by clicking the icon enclosed in a red box or just reopen the HTML application. To make the code more readable and to understand how some parts of our code work, we can put comments inside the angle bracket just like in the example. Back to headers. The lower value header equates to a larger text size just like the text in H1. The higher value on the other hand means a smaller text size just like the example in H2. Of course, the higher the value of the header gets, i.e. H6, we'll see a more smaller value. We can put hyperlinks which when clicked will redirect us to another site. In the example, the link is hidden in the text link, and this link is a little longer. The syntax for this tag is in the example. Here's another example. You can experiment on how you will structure the contents of the application however you like this example using the header and paragraph at this moment. More tags to improve the structure will be presented in the next slides. All typical content text is wrapped by HTML tags. You'll presumably see that we've indented HTML tags that are included in other HTML tags. You'll consider that as we are creating an HTML report, we will include or alter a modest quantity of content, store our progress, at that point change to the browser window and reopen the page. A progressive structure characterized by HTML is a method of presenting an object which can be characterized through HTML and afterward communicated with by means of a scripting language such as JavaScript. This is a visual representation of a document object model. This diagram provides an overview of the hierarchy of how the different tags correlate to each other. Immediate descendants are called child elements, and the elements on top of child elements are known as the parent element. The UL element is definitely not a relative or descendant of the head element on the grounds that there is no path beginning at the head element and ending at the UL element without climbing up in the hierarchy. On the off chance that your code has a blunder, the compiler will enlighten you regarding it when you run your code through it. You can type the link of the website, upload the HTML file, or paste the code directly by clicking the Validate by Direct Input. A sample of the errors that the validator may catch. Here is the summary list of the tags that can be used to structure the contents in an HTML website. Make sure that the style.css file is located in the same directory the index.html file is for the style specification to work just like in the picture. This file characterizes a basic HTML page with an H1 element and a P element confined in the body element. The content of the CSS file will be shown after this slide. This is the code for enclosed in the style.css. A CSS file is an assortment of rule sets. A rule set is essentially an assortment of style rules applied to some subset of elements in the DOM. A rule set comprises of a selector, an opening curly brace, a list of rules, an ending curly brace. Selector, only the name of the HTML element to which we need to apply the style. The rule set comprises of 3 rules: value of the width property, value of the background property, value of the color property. two ways to define color: 1. CSS color names for generally utilized colors, or 2. A hexadecimal color code. A hex color code comprises of 6 hexadecimal digits, 0 to 9, or a F. In the given example code, we used the first option, which is to use the color names for generally utilized col. Although comments provide a better overview about how a particular part of the code works, it is recommended that these comments should be limited and used only when it is needed. A span element is used for inline organization and styling. A div element is used for block-level organization and styling of page elements. Both block style elements and inline elements have color and background properties. In any case, block style elements have 3 different properties that come in helpful while creating a style on the page with customized layouts. They are padding, border, and margins. The padding property signifies the spacing between the content of the element and the border, and the margin is the spacing between the element and its encompassing element. From the sample code, we can observe that the paragraph is enclosed inside the division. This allows us to seclude certain contents and make some kind of partition that divides it with the rest. The style code will be shown after this slide. This is the code for the CSS file in the example presented earlier. The border, 5px solid maroon, is reflected on the image in the right. Additional rule set like text align and padding is also added. In this example, we can see that the color of the link is different from the color of the default link text. This can be configured in the style.css. This is the code for the CSS file in the example presented earlier. Observe the line color, blue, located on the second to the last line of the code. We can experiment on other colors by just simply typing the color name or the hex code of the color. In this example, we can observe that there are 3 headers. The styles.css file is linked in the header tag. Let's see the code for the styles. We can observe from the code presented that both h1 and h2 are descendants of the body tag. However, see that we have overridden the background of header 2 to green. If we do not override it, the header will just simply inherit the yellow background just like header 1. Also note that we have changed the color of the text in header 1 to red. The styles presented in this video is just some of the ways one can code their websites to look more presentable. With the concepts and code presented, the user. Thank you for listening.